Two pilgrims in Austin, Texas, wind and warmth, 3.5 kilometers along a lake. They talked about memory and forgetting, about ego and flow, about circles that spiral upward. Some of the most important things we'll never teach. They can only be walked.
So it's supposed to be like open.
So right now you're talking, right?
Yes.
Yep, great.
Yes, nice,
Yep.
nice. And if I turn off the phone, it will keep going?
Yeah, or yeah, you can turn it off or you can swipe up. It's still wrong
okay.
right now. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So if you actually tap, you can see. You can actually, there's like talk right there.
Yeah, 28. Oh, nice. Nice. All right, let's do the... Nice. How much it was when you bought it?
This was, I think I bought it on eBay for like $70 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best one that I researched that's good for podcasters, at least mobile podcasters. Because some people have crazy setup, with the big mics. This is like for more mobile. Because I was thinking of doing those walking videos where people are silent and it just
With the stick?
just with the stick, all right, with the gimbal, and they just keep walking. I was thinking of doing that on pilgrimages, and then show that unedited on YouTube, and that would be. It's kind of like part of the walk, talk, meditate. Mm-hmm. The walking part is the YouTube video with the gimbal, just without any voice. And the talk is like what we're doing, the talk. Yeah. It'll be a podcast, right? And then it gets uploaded automatically to Apple, to Spotify, to YouTube. YouTube actually has their own podcast, which turns into like a video. And then Amazon has their podcast as well, apparently.
Nice.
But I doubt anyone uses it. But
wow.
Yeah. Anyways, so right now it's crazy, man. The automation pipelines that you can set up is ridiculous. And then AI will help you to figure all of that out for you too. So that's what's interesting.
One of the things that I might be doing next is trying to automate the marketing stuff, like the social media posting and...
Yeah, do that. You can use Buffer. Just use Buffer. You get 3 channels for free. I use YouTube. I connect my YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok for the shorts, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I have 2 different Buffer accounts to 2 different businesses, and a Buffer actually has MCP as well. So you can literally connect, pipeline it, set up the automation, and then send it straight to Buffer, and Buffer schedules it knows the best time to post for you. So it schedules the posts and automatically posts them for you throughout the week. But the max you can do is 10 for the free version.
10 posts a
10
week?
posts, at any time in the queue. But you can do, I think, up to you can do posts every day if you want. So you can set your schedule to post every day, like 7 days a week. Kind of thing.
I will check it out.
Yeah, it's completely free, which is awesome.
Nice.
And speaking of Buffer, the guy that created it, it's very interesting. I read his story way back. This dude, he created Buffer, and then he went on this meditation retreat or something. It completely changed his life. And I think he revamped Buffer or something to make it super transparent, something like that. I don't remember the whole story, but I just remember his story, meditation really changed him, kind of thing.
So that's one of those companies where you can see the revenue?
Yeah, very transparent about it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think for a while I saw that trend of being open with the revenues and how much money they needed to be profitable.
Yeah, they show also show how much they're paying their employees and stuff like that. I think another company that does it. Man, maybe is it WordPress or something? Maybe forgot.
Yeah, nice. So check that out. So what's the so you were talking about the vision of building the first version and the next one, and I think the idea about the stones, it's awesome.
Yeah. I like it. When I
Yes.
go on these, like just travel around the world, I see inevitably
like
I see a
something there.
stone. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the curiosity of who was this person, and
Right.
or when this stone was put there. That would be so nice. And in
Yeah.
a way, it's great to connect the digital world with the
Physical,
real world,
Yeah.
with the physical world.
Yeah. There's some kind of connection, and it's like I love the fact that it's anonymous. Like you don't know who did this, but it was there.
And the person who did it before, he gets something back. Like, how many people saw the message?
Nope.
Or no,
Nothing.
nothing.
Just
Okay.
just there. You did it. But I also have the walktalkmeditate.com, which right now it just shows the pilgrimage routes in like very beautifully drawn. If you go on the homepage, it looks like the routes are light up with energy. But technically, I could do that, pipe the data for the stones into that. So you can see where the stones are placed in the world, around the world.
Nice. That would be amazing. Kind of in a way how Pokemon Go worked.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Pokemon. There something you could do on your app right now when you have more journeys, when you do more walks. Go to the export, like in the setting. Go to the data section, the import export. You don't need to export it right now, but you can go to a link in the third one called View Your Journey. And what it does is there's an open source project called Viewer, like Pilgrim Viewer, and you click that button and it automatically exports your .pilgrim file, which contains all of your journey so far. And then nothing leaves your device. It's a locally rendered browser. It doesn't go to any, like your data doesn't go anywhere except it loads into your local browser, and then it shows all your journey in the browser, like very beautifully done.
Wow, nice. I will try it. So it's like a way, like a report tool for the journeys.
Yep, and you can generate what's it called keepsake. So you can actually print out. It looks like a beautifully done. It looks like a postcard. Like when you go to it, check it out. Like there's on the left bar, nav bar, there's a thing called overlay. Click overlay, which shows all of your journeys. And in the near bottom, there's you can do export it as a keepsake image or a video, where it draws all of your your routes, like almost like it's like painted on kind of thing, in like a 3 to 4 second video.
Nice. So how many walks I need? Like
You can do it now. Like it's better to show with more walks, but you can do it with one walk is fine. Kind of thing.
That's so nice. Do you have like a average amount of steps or minutes walking?
Usually, I like walking. I usually walk with my parents after dinner, and so we usually walk for like a mile, 1.2 mile kind of thing. And
after dinner,
yeah, when I go about like traveling wise, because I like to wander when I travel. I don't have any particular destination. I just go when I feel what I should do for the day, just walk and wander around. Hence why I even want this app.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So I can track where I've been, kind of, and also during those times, my average daily steps is like over 10,000 steps. Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be like 2 hours of walking, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
A day, yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was in San Francisco and I walked the whole entire day. I saw on my Apple Health, I walked for 18 miles. And then by the end, when I went to a restaurant to eat, my calves were like clenching, because I didn't even rest during most of the time when I was walking. And you know, San Francisco, there's like these giant hills you gotta climb and stuff. So when I was leaving the restaurant, I could barely walk because like my calves were just like, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, to me, the cities that I walked the most, it was Manhattan and it was Tokyo.
Okay.
I think to me, that was the ones that I remember, like,
You walk the most.
Walking a
Those
lot.
are walking cities, you know, to
Yeah.
begin with, right? What did you remember? What was the most memorable out of each of those cities that you remember?
so I was trying, I remember in New York, the thought that came to my mind was geometry.
Geometry. Interesting.
Yes, because you can tell when you're walking the buildings, the roads, the light, it follows some sort of a structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't, it feels like everything was set like
Yep.
for a reason.
So my friend pointed it out. I never noticed this, but after he pointed it out, it made sense. If you zoom out on the map, on Google Map or something, and then don't use the regular map, use like the terrain or something. It looks like a chip,
Oh,
right? Like
nice.
it looks
Yeah.
like cells, like transistors.
Yeah, transistors.
If you zoom out enough, it looks like transistors on the chip.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Very interesting. Yeah, whereas other cities, you can tell they are more organic. They don't follow a structure. I remember London, for instance. It's crazy turns and buildings of different styles and shapes, and that's
What vibes with you? What kind of design do you like?
I think the organic one lets you feel lost in a way, and it's more unpredictable.
Right.
You can walk here, go there.
There's a sense of mystery.
Yes. Which I'm reading now this book on memory. So it's a guy analyzing the world champions of remembering numbers.
Okay.
And he's making this statement about that memory works when you are doing the same thing over and over again. The memory doesn't save that information anymore. It's like it just skips. Like, oh, I already have this information.
It's like caching. Literally like caching.
Yeah, so it doesn't use any energy to store the thing because you already did that.
Yeah.
So that's in comparison with doing something new. The brain is always saving.
Yeah.
That's like new information. So yeah, it can't use the cache.
So are you saying the people who memorize the long? You're talking about memorizing really long numbers,
Yes.
right? So are they using the caching part or the new memory part?
They use the caching part by association.
Okay.
They are trying to find like 3 numbers or 4 numbers and think of something, think
Like
of
an
an
image.
image.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then they are just thinking of the images, and the images make a meaning.
It's kind of like a memory palace, like Sherlock Holmes,
Yes,
the memory
exactly.
palace thing.
Yeah, it's kind of that. But the interesting part to me was that they were asking or trying to figure it out who lived like a more meaningful life.
Uh-huh.
And the people who have done a lot of new things, they have more memories. So they feel like, oh, my life has been so full of stuff and I have done so much, because they have a lot more memories.
Right.
Compared to the person that never left his hometown or never traveled. It felt like the life or time was moving more slowly for the people who have been traveling the most and doing new stuff in comparison.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the people who just, I guess, stay at home, mainly the memory are cached.
Exactly. Yeah. So time for them, it moves faster
Yeah.
because they have fewer memories to think about the time.
Yep.
And the way that we measure if time is moving fast or no, it's by how many snapshots
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah. I had this realization when I was in Poland, when I was in Krakow one day. I remember it was raining outside. I was seeing all these people outside just like try to get away from the rain. And this realization came to me of like, why do certain memory stick out in us? Why do certain memory in our lives, I'm talking about, you could be 20 years back in the past, yet for that particular reason, why did that memory stick out? And what is I guess like, how does the mind know which memory to store and the relativeness of how long the memory has been? I guess like the gravity of that memory compared to the age of the memory, and like there's like a percentage weight difference between them in order for the mind to kind of really store that particular memory. And because once you get so much memories, some of them just get discarded, right?
Yeah.
So why do certain memory are always there? Right?
And did you get to any conclusion on what made it stick?
Yeah, I feel like it comes down to how much gravity that memory had impacted you in relation to how long it has been. Like let's say you have a really powerful memory. Like for me, the ayahuasca experience, like my first ayahuasca, I don't think I'll ever forget it, kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So that's like very meaningful. Yet it has passed for quite a while. Yeah, I'm still remembering it because of the importance part has kind of stuck that memory in me. Even though the relative time has passed, it didn't matter because the importance of it still was there.
Still fresh.
Yeah, versus like just a regular memory, let's say 10, 20 years in the past, I totally forgot, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. It feels to me that if you are accessing that memory more frequently, it will keep fresh.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you bring up the cache. You refresh the cache.
Refresh it. Yeah. Yeah, I also think about some people that I knew that they were important back a few years back, many years back, and I can't remember their faces. I think.
But you remember what they said.
Yes,
right?
and I remember the feeling of being with the person.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the very key thing that you brought. It's like the feeling. You know the saying like, you don't. I was exactly, what was it like?
That you don't forget how they make you feel.
Yeah, something like that.
Right?
Like it doesn't matter what they say. It's how they made you feel, kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works because I know that if I see them on the street, I will not recognize them.
Right.
But and I feel that the person was important, but I can't recall like, oh, that's how they looked, or
Yeah.
if I see this person on the street, this is the name.
Yeah. I mean, all of that is just a kind of physical aspect to it. Like the body, like you when you recognize someone, you recognize their body. You know what I'm saying? But how they made you feel, you had an energetic connection. Like we're just basically energy beings, and when you come into the same frequency, come into the same harmony, there's that exchange of harmonious exchange of energy, and that's what stuck. That's like almost like a soul imprint of like that exchange, and then you remember that, but you don't remember the physical body of that, right?
No, and that's interesting because in a way it feels like the body or the physical thing is ephemeral. You don't. It feels like intuitively you know that that's not important,
Right.
which is crazy.
You want to go for another? Or?
I think we can do another one. Yeah. So how that compares, like in the long term. So let's say 20 years in the future. What are the memories that I will be able to recall?
Yeah. You don't know. You
don't know.
Because you don't know how that like we were just talking about the energy of it, how deeply impactful was that energy exchange in a way.
Yeah, and probably that's a good case for living in the present and not worrying about the future or the past, because you will not know.
And then those things will just surface up randomly, right?
Yeah, but so I think when you wanna also have these memories that are, you think, oh, this is important, I don't want to forget this thing, but then you can't control it. It might be gone, and then I will not be able to remember this thing. So the guy writing this book about memory, he's saying that the brain stores everything.
Okay.
Is that that by definition it's like a camcorder saving everything. The only problem, or the only thing, is that the functionality for retrieving information is not that great, or it requires a lot of energy, so you don't do it. But for people with trauma, like if they have been in an accident or something like that, where the actual brain changes, they are able to recall, like let's say people with dementia.
Yeah.
They are able to recall like memories from 40 years ago, and it seemed like they were living that yesterday.
Yeah. There's like multiple books mention this, which is like the left brain hemisphere and right brain hemisphere is connected by this like tiny little thing, and then if you sever it, it does weird things where, you know, the right brain is mainly the creativity part, while the left hemisphere is mainly about logic. And so when I forgot which book said this, when they were doing an experiment of someone painting with using their right hemisphere and then painted something, and the doctor asked the patient, why did you paint this? And the left brain had no idea why, because they're not talking to each other, right? So the left brain will come up with the most absurd logical thing to try to explain why
they were painting
this.
Nice. And there was no reason.
Yeah.
So and why it is this thing that is, it feels like it's half and half creative, half logical. But you don't live like that. You're mostly living on the logical functionality, trying to make sense.
If you, I don't know, when you're doing meditation or something, or when you're in flow, or when you're I don't know, painting, doing those kind of creative acts, are you really engaging the left part?
No. Definitely, it will be the right side, like the emotional part. When you're in flow, you're not thinking.
So when you're in flow, do you think it's not even engaging the right at all? Both left and right are not engaged.
I think it's not engaged. Yeah. Is that? Yeah. It feels to me like it's when you're in flow, you're just connected in the right frequency.
Yeah.
To act like a filter or to act like a connector from the
infinite
consciousness.
source. Yeah.
Yes, and then like a printer.
Yeah, then people call it download. You're downloading information from above.
Yeah, and the more you try to fight it, the more you try to rationalize or fight
that takes you out of flow. That
takes you out of it.
The fact that you're rationalizing it takes you out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember this from one of the interviews that Jason Fried did, the 37 Signal Base Camp
yes,
guy.
yeah.
And he took, I think ayahuasca or mushroom, I forgot. I think it's probably mushroom psychedelics, and he said that. I think it's actually ayahuasca because he said the shaman was playing a song, and the first time he heard it, he went through this like transcendental state that it just like it's pure bliss. He felt that, right? And then the next time he asked the shaman if he can play it again, and he got nothing. And the realization is like, just let go. Like you're trying to relive the same experience, and that can never happen.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You try to grasp on to, a moment in the past that you experienced and try to relive that again. And the universe is responding, saying, no, that does not happen this way, right?
No, you can't. I remember in Japan there was a concept for that, like ichigo something or inigo something, which meant like this place, this time, it's not gonna happen again. Maybe I will remember the term.
There is a term, I think like called mu or something, which is like, it's kind of like nothingness in a way. It just almost kind of like impermanence. I had this concept of interesting story is before this app, Pilgrim app, I was developing a meditation app. And for because I was chatting with Claude about what can I do kind of thing, and the meditation app came up, and I was like very excited to work on it, and then this is like in the early stage. I know like I just finished the first project that I finished with Claude. So this is the second one, so I'm still in the early phase of learning how to use Claude, and I started working with Claude to develop like a both competitive. Like we were talking about, like using native or conductor to make app that's both compatible with Android as well as iOS, and we architected it like brainstormed the heck out of it. Just like everything is good, and then it started coding, and the first draft looks like it did not work. It's full of bugs, and it just like looks like shit. I was like, oh, this is so bad. But what came out of it was the name Dhyama. Dhyama is a combination of dhyana, which is a Sanskrit word for meditation, as combining with the word ma, which is Japanese for sacred space or sacred pause. So it's like Dhyama.
Yeah. So again, Dhyana?
Dhyana.
What it means?
It means meditation in Sanskrit.
In Sanskrit?
Yep.
Huh. Interesting. And
ma means sacred space or sacred pause
Sacred space.
in Japanese.
Okay.
And so we
So
combine
that's the
the two.
physicality.
Yeah. And there's another word called yama in both Japanese and Sanskrit, surprisingly. Yama means control in Sanskrit. Yama in Japanese means mountain. So I had this like beautifully done logo. It looks like the kanji character for mountain, which looks like it's like a one stroke down in the middle and two stroke on the side with a horizontal stroke on the bottom, and that's the kanji for mountain. And surprisingly, it looks like someone who is in meditation, like like the side one looks like two legs, like in lotus pose, and the middle is the person.
Imbalance. Or,
Basically sitting like the frame, the body. So I designed a logo and it looks good, but just never really used it because that app never really took off. But what came out of it was the TTS that I'm using for a lot of my project, which is like it generates voice based on different character profiles. So before people use 11 Labs, I use 11 Labs for the Japanese thing, but it turned out that you can use your own local LLM models to generate voices. It's actually easier to do it this way, and it saves you a ton of money too. But now you can get there's a bunch of copy-free voices that you can use as profile. Basically, you just need like a minute or 30 seconds of someone's voice to generate that person's profile.
Wow.
And once it's trained, then you can use that person's voice for anything. That's what I use for all the guides. And so all the guides with their personalities.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have to curate which one fits what. Like the voice needs to match the name, like sage, stone, ember, drift, breeze. It kind of, depending on male and female, it has to be different too.
But that's like a library of something that you can use the voice, and you can send any text that you want, and the voice will
Yep, we'll say it.
say it.
Yep, exactly. It's exactly like 11 Labs. That's what they do. But they do on a massive scale, and they have real-time translation and real-time voice kind of thing. Right. This is all generated beforehand. They're like pre-cache assets.
That's great. So that's like a special format for the voice to be able to be used.
No, you just need a MP3, any kind of audio file, usually WAV. You can find libraries that have copy-free. Basically, they'll let you use their voice to be used for anything kind of thing. So you use their voice, and you train your TTS, which is like the LLM.
TTS.
Which is like the voice local models that you use to vocalize,
speak,
I guess,
yeah.
the text to audio. Yeah. Oh, that's a TTS, text to audio. Right?
Text to audio.
Text to speech.
Text to speech. Interesting. So back to this meditation. So Dhyama. Yeah, so maybe it was timing, right? Maybe it was not the right idea, but at the wrong time.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of evolved into Pilgrim, who has the meditation on top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything will fall in its place, kind of. Yeah, like you said, everything is timing too. It comes down to timing.
Yeah. And everything happens at the right time.
Yep.
Even if you don't understand.
At that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our mind likes to rationalize. One of the mind's thing is like it hates uncertainty, right? It wants to know. It wants to know. That's hence why we want to know the future. Right? What's going to happen to us? Right? What's going to happen?
And where do you think that urge comes from of knowing?
I think it might be just a biological thing, like a survival mechanism. Like, if we don't know what's going on, then there's a possibility that we're going to die. Which is, I think all fear essentially stems from fear of death at the end.
Okay, so you want to know to not die, to avoid the possibility of dying.
Yeah.
Huh. And the fear of dying, where do you think it comes from?
I think it comes from the ego. Like, it's not that we die, it's the ego's death, right? That's why it's, sometimes people would describe the ego death as both like painful as well as blissful, because once the ego is gone, then you have that flow state, because there's no narration in your mind, right?
I'm trying to think of this word that I remember that exists of, and it was the meaning of the source of the sound, or the source of sound. And that meant to be like a human or a being. And it came from this Japanese concept of trying to describe a being as the source of sound.
Interesting.
And that's interesting to me, yeah, that the association of sound or energy as a means to describe
that being.
The being.
Yeah, which is in the sense that is what truly is that being, is the energy, which in the Bible, the one of the first stanza was in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. That word in like yogic teaching is Om, which is the sound, the sound of the universe, in a sense, like that vibrates through all, kind of thing. That is the God's universal sound, kind of thing.
Yeah, like the source of all energy, or.
Yeah, so in a sense, we are beings of the Om. We're all vibrating at different frequencies, all sounds of vibration.
Nice. So there's supposed to be some sort of meaning of going back to the source, of trying to complete the journey and going back, because the ego is probably taking you to not go back, right? To not complete the journey.
I think it's just a detour. Like, inevitably, everyone goes back. In a sense. It's just how many detours we take along the way to get back. Because it is a journey. And then I had this like realization that everything runs in circle, which one of my friends told me that a better put analogy or better put visual is everything runs in spiral, which is like a 3D representation of a circle in a way, right?
In spiral?
But yeah, because there's like a depth dimension to it. So because like I has this like I get this feeling of something feeling complete. Let's say I go somewhere and I don't come back until like 10 years or 5 years in the future, and I still remember when I go back to that same spot. I still remember that memory, but it feels something has been completed. Like I went through a long journey over the period, and now I came back to the same place. But I'm not the same person anymore,
not the same
right?
person. Yeah.
But it feels like the circle has been completed in a way.
Wow. And it requires some sensitivity or some appreciation to realize that to realize that the journey is over.
And not being kind of like holding on to it, you know, not holding on to that past. We were talking about holding on to that experience that you wanted.
Yeah. Which is a fight with the ego to let go.
Yep. Constant fight. That's the whole thing about Bhagavad Gita is the Kurukshetra, the battleground, is our inner battle. Like our daily battle is battling the lower down pulling energy versus the higher up pulling energy. Like we're all constantly battling.
That energy or
Well, this is great, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
this is
for
great, man.
chat.
Yeah. So how you finish the end?
And
The circle does not close, it spirals. And that is the whole journey.